This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
Welcome, and thank you for those who are listening now or later in the archives. I don't know if you can feel it in the air, but the autumn is definitely setting in. The lighting is changing. My succulents are starting to get all too much shade right now, and I know that give it another 3 weeks and the leaves will be, well, maybe not 3 weeks, but the leaves will be changing, and pretty soon all of the light will come back, and then we can enjoy that beautiful Indian summer, which means Renaissance fairs for me. My name is Anne-Marie. I consider myself to be like a psychic phone operator, and I'm answering the ringing telephone around you. My tool is tarot, and I say that with a certain amount of reservation. So many people have it in their head that they'll say, well, was that psychic or was that tarot? Well, no one ever asks the carpenter, now are you a real carpenter? Because I notice you are using a drill and a hammer. With every trade, whether you're an artist that uses chisels or paintbrushes, or whether you are a medium who uses symbolic tools around you just through vision, or whether you are somebody that is like me, as uses tarot. For me, tarot is just pictures. I went to the store, I picked out the pictures that resonated best with me, as is important for you, if you are a reader, to pick artwork that resonates with you. You don't want to be the kind of reader, I say this because maybe since I've been doing this for 40 plus years, who just looks at the cards and uses them as memory flashcards. You want to use the cards more as the hammer, like a carpenter uses for building your empathic vision. So when you ask me, are you psychic or are you just reading tarot? The answer is both. I just look at the pictures and whatever comes through, which I call my inner angel guidance, which I also call the angel frequency, together we read on you. Now, I don't ask for questions until I have first channeled your first name. Now, of course, I read for both Keen and Best Psychics Directory. I think I have about, I'm going to say, 17,000 client reviews at Keen altogether, and I have over 110 reviews at Best Psychics Directory. What that means is really nothing except that I've been at it a long time and people seem to like me. So when you get a chance to get a reading for me here, it's free. And all you have to do is call 602-666-6027. That's 602-666-6027. And you can in-quick your questions as well. I will see them through Studio A at Achieve Radio, or you can watch me live on Achieve TV. All those links are there right on the Achieve Radio website. So, one of the things that I wanted to cover today was the Sarah Moses. And please understand when I say the Sarah Moses, every woman that has reached the age of 50 plus or is over her menstrual cycle is a woman who has officially come to the point in her life where she's no longer run by hormones. She's run by who she was when she started out as a little girl. That essence, no longer controlled by hormones, the ups and the downs. Also, a Sarah Moses can be an executive, an artist, a gardener, preferably somebody in the Sarah Moses excellence field would be somebody who's taken it to the next notch, perhaps, to somebody who has a greenhouse or a company of a greenhouse. But a Sarah Moses can also be somebody that has just learned a hell of a lot of shit from her ups and downs in life. She has great life teacher tools. Now, everybody goes through a fog. But the calls I get from executives and the Sarah Moses that has excelled in her field, she has been a leader. She has been an inspirer. She has been somebody that has motivated people and often strategized and made choices that worked for other people. Now, how do you know if your little girl is a Sarah Moses? I love this one. A Sarah Moses little girl, you can see it in her eyes right from the start. She's pure power. Now, all little girls are pure power. But this little girl, the minute she starts kindergarten, often is somebody who maybe some will say is bossy. But she's also that little girl that ends up getting chosen to be the leader in gym class, the leader in the newspaper, the leader in, debate. She's somebody that seems to resonate with that achievement level that others depend on. Most of the time, she doesn't even know why she's chosen as a leader. And a lot of times, people will give her absolutely no recognition except as a leader. When the time comes to choose somebody to control the show, all eyes turn to her. And oftentimes, she'll have a feeling like nobody even likes her. Because, as they say, it can be lonely on top. When you're somebody that people don't want to include in the normal stuff, but always get chosen as the leader, it begins to feel like you're on the outside looking in on the normal type situations that other people do. But the Sarah Moses thrives on recognition through being a leader, and she doesn't even know she's doing it most of the time. Also, she is somebody that will find that she craves less. But does she really? I read for women who are top-notch car dealers. They've been the woman that was able to compete with men in the executive field. And they're always looked at with a little bit of intimidation. And women sometimes are intimidated by her because they feel that maybe in some way they're not on her level. Men are intimidated by her because they're going, now wait a minute, you're a female, I'm a male, I deserve more, why are you getting the same status I am? But of course, with the, Me Too movement, that's changing. The little baby girls of this generation are now going to be a true discovery for many people to see where they go. It's going to be amazing. And I feel that guys are definitely listening when it comes to the old standards, where if a woman wanted an opportunity to be able to excel, hey, come on over here to my bedroom, or give me a kiss, or anything like that. No, I think that those women, those young women of today, would not even consider that. And I don't think the young men will do it either. So for today, I just wanted to speak on the Sarah Moses. If that woman of excellence who has always wanted less finds herself, as many of the women I know through my phone calls, retire or think that they've reached the financial level where they're comfortable without the hard work. Often they find, because they have not made friends easily in a real sense. Yes, they make connections. They're excellent at connections. But when they step off the stage and they go into that relaxed lifestyle, often they will find themselves lying on the living room floor going, is this what I was wanting all my life? Is this what is called relaxing? And this is when the Sarah Moses has to go into the soft warrior. The soft warrior just needs to realize that she doesn't have to be financially lucrative all the time to be a leader. She can go into a zillion organizations that are falling apart, and with her skills, whether they are at a museum, whether they are at a local charity, whether they are at an art department, whether it's teaching art, whether it's being able to public speak. Public speaking is, if you look at maybe the little older Sarah Moses that is top notch, she's probably one of those people that had to learn you have two choices. You can lay on your living room floor and say, is this it? Or you can get out there, make connections, join organizations, and find leadership, kind of in the same way that the ancient tribes that had wise women that helped to make decisions were able to help their tribes to be able to make decisions on the most simple and the most important things of survival. So that's what I have to say for you women that are out there looking for something in your life. Get off your duff and get out there. Don't allow yourself to become useless. You have, and you were born with, and you will always be a leader. Don't let retirement or stepping off the stage of just had it with the public eye. Don't let that stop you from being a prima ballerina that can't teach ballet, or the artist that can't teach art. You are now a life teacher, so go after it. All right. So I have John from New York and Leslie from Washington and Renee from Pennsylvania. And I do want to let you know you can inquick your questions as well by going to the Achieve Studio A or Achieve Video. And you can also type in your questions right there. And if you're listening at Facebook, come on over and you can go to Achieve Radio and go to Studio A or Achieve Video and type in your questions. Love to hear you. Let's start out with John. Hey, John, how you doing today?
I am doing fine. How are you?
Doing good. What's up with your world?
Oh, it's a little complicated, but other than that, it's good.
All right. Would you like me to give you a reading on just your first name and then tell you what I see
Oh
and go
yes,
from there? All right. So the first thing I'm going
uncomplicated world.
to, okay. I always like to start out by knowing nothing. That always helps me to feel like I'm getting a true connection. So I'm going to have you say your name, please. First name.
John.
Thank you. And then again.
John.
Great. And one more time.
John.
Awesome. So, John, this is just the energy reading before I do a little more detail. Your reading says that in the last probably 2 months, maybe a little longer, you have found yourself detaching from the people or situations that were not giving you any kind of reception. There is no sense in your mind at this time to try to bash your head in walls and ask yourself, why am I feeling like I'm not getting that feel good from someone or something that is not giving me back what I've put into it. And so the energy right now around you, John, is detachment. Not because it's a bad thing, but it's the most productive you can do for yourself at this time. Your reading says you're going to notice that in September, your intellectual mind is focusing on other things because you're not worrying about the stuff that isn't giving you a response. However, watch out for your analytical negative mind suddenly saying, great, I feel good, but then I still can't let go of whatever did not work out. Now, if I look at, John, what comes up in more detail on this, and I'll have you say your name one more time.
John.
Is it Don or John?
John. John.
Okay, I thought it was John. Okay, John, here's what comes through. At this time, it says, you enjoy a lot of attention. You kind of like being in the spotlight. There's a sense that for you, not getting recognition or not getting a response is something that really bugs you. Your reading also shows you have a tendency, either because others put their cares and their hard work on your shoulders, but you are seen as somebody that really tries hard to shoulder more possibly than you really should. Your reading says it's time for boundaries. You need to stop putting yourself in the attitude of being maybe somebody that fixes or nurtures and takes on things, whether it's job related or relationship related, and realize that you may be saying to yourself, I'm sick of this. I don't want to go there anymore. And yet finding that you have a pattern of consistently doing it anyway. Your reading says that you went through some anxiety in the past 8 weeks to 8 months, but I'm going to say more likely the last 8 weeks. And that, John, the future shows that, you can't cry over spilt milk. There's a sense that whatever you disappointed you, as your very first energy reading said, you can't do anything about that. So what happens is that I'm shown about the time you let it go and you decide, you know what? I like to stand out, and I have to feel good about me if I'm going to let that light show. If I'm going to get, because like attracts like, and if you're feeling dowdy and you're feeling depressed and you're feeling like nobody is giving you or somebody's not giving you the attention you want at a job or relationship, then you have to move on from that and clear the slate. And I'm shown that as soon as you do clear the slate, I'm shown somebody aggressively reaching out to you. The one thing you don't want right now is loneliness. You don't want to be on the outside looking in. And your reading says, John, that the last thing you want is anybody to lie or deceive you or to be in the eyes of someone else not being honest with them. One part of you is sick to death of committing to people that make you take on that attitude that everything is your responsibility. So stick with your guns and realize less is more for you, because you can't always be the knight in shining armor for everybody. And to do so, you sometimes just set yourself up to get used. Lastly, it says, John, if you're going to heal, if you're going to nurture, if you're going to be the star, remember from two huge stars, Jesus and Buddha, that you can heal the wounded. You can fix those that have problems or are sick, but you can't take them home with you. So try to avoid taking home situations that do not respect or give back their 50%, and realize that you can still be the star, you can still shine, you can still be surrounded by that light, but you got to let go of whatever was in the past that didn't give you that 50%, or it made you do all the nurturing and the work but didn't give back, and that's what comes through. So John, what is your question?
My question, I have a dilemma. I have a car that is kind of on its last leg, and I'm trying to get money to purchase a new car.
Okay.
Now, I want to know if there's a new car in my future.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't read on lucky money. I don't read on that.
Oh, no, it's not luck. It's not gambling money. It's work-related money.
Okay, so is this kind of a financial reading too, sort of? Our finance is going to be such that you will find a month where you can afford that new car. And what I look at, John, says if I look at a financial reading, I have September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I hate to tell you this, but June comes up. June comes up as the time where you can spend that extra money and not have to pay the consequences. Now, you're talking about a brand new car, right?
Correct.
Yeah, June. June is when I show it of 2019. There's a lot of great vehicles out there that are like new, but they don't lose their value when you take them off the lot. I feel that you can still get a wonderful car if you kind of maybe lower some of your expectations. On the other hand, if you're looking for that big money, that extra income, I'm going to say it's spring 2019.
Okay.
That's what I have.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling it's going to run that long.
I'm going to confirm your feeling, John. But you know what? Like I said, just remember that that new car, maybe a wonderful thing to ride around in, and maybe you have a job or a lifestyle that needs to have 100% new. But, you know,
Oh, no, no, I don't.
We are in the
No, I
process.
don't.
Yeah, I'm in the process myself. We are picking up a new vehicle tomorrow, but new is used, and new means that it's enough so that the taxes and the license won't kill us. But it's also it's a wonderful vehicle. So I would say if you're looking to maybe get a great car but not get brand new, you could probably do it a lot sooner than spring. You just have to kind of lower your expectations. Yeah.
Okay. I can do that.
All right, John.
Let's go back. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. We have Leslie. Hey, Leslie. How are you?
Anne Marie, how are you?
Doing great, Leslie. What's up?
Well, I have a couple questions.
Would it be all right Would it be all right if I connect with you first?
Yes, sure.
Okay, Leslie.
Always good to do that.
Yeah. I just try to give an example of how I read first, you know. So, say your first name.
Leslie.
Thank you. And again.
Leslie.
Thanks. And one more time.
Leslie.
Thanks. Looks like you got a phone call coming in.
Well, that's another phone. It's not one that I have to take. I think it's a random call.
All right.
Should have muted that.
Here's what comes up. This is a great time for you to focus on ambitious goals. Your reading says that in the past, you've got a great attitude, and sometimes you may intimidate some people. Your reading says, though, that focus on your number one priority, your number one ambition. My sense is that you are going to bring into your life what it is you want, but try not, once you've put out the hook for what you want, I believe that the goal is going to happen for you. But I also believe that there has to come a point where you also take a reality pill. And the reality pill is, if you have put out the hook and if you have done all you can to reach for this priority in your life, it's important that you then stand back and see what happens. Because it says, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, but I'm showing something here that's concerning me. So I'll go into a little more detail, and then you ask your question, okay? This will be short. When I look at what comes up around you, Leslie, your reading says that at this particular time, a precious friend or somebody in your life has been taking a very high position. And yet, there seems to be a sense that either A, it's not giving you the happiness that you were looking for, or B, whatever this friend is, seems to either be suffering from depression, or they seem to be somebody that tends to be recovering or healing from another issue. I'm shown that you have the fortitude and the focus of a man. And by that I mean that when you put your mind on something, ain't nothing going to take your mind off it until you found the answer. Your reading also says that a creative relationship or new opportunity happened in the recent past. And that based on that, I'm shown, Eureka, it's going to work fantastic for you. But why I'm shown you disappointed comes up once again. And I have a theory about people that love challenges and love conquest. Sometimes the very things that we want the most, once we have them, it's like shopper's remorse. The thrill is gone. So what I'm saying is watch out for shopper's remorse, or watch out for relationship remorse, where you have what you want, whether it be career or goal, or, it just shows that there is this sense, either A, that if this is you, then for whatever reason, once you get what you want to keep it. Or B, once you have somebody else in your court that you've been yearning for, there's a sense that you may find that all of a sudden there's issues coming up that don't seem to make sense when things seemed so right. Okay, please give me the question, a name, or a situation.
Okay, that was interesting. I'm not sure. Some of it makes sense. I would probably need to ask more questions to,
of course,
to pin it down. And the first person you said, it kind of sounds like a family member that has to do. One of the questions was about my mother. Right now, we're waiting to kind of settle a dispute with her health insurance company. She's at a skilled nursing facility, and they cut off coverage kind of soon, and so she's been hanging out there. We've had to pay ourselves until we figure out what to do with her. I've been dealing with the insurance company. We'll probably file some more appeals, but we'll probably have to find someplace else for her. So it's been kind of an upheaval, and this was a result of a fall and surgery, and she's advanced in age, so some of it's in a way kind of expected, but there's that. For the last 2 years, I've been kind of a caregiver, at least part-time, and haven't really been able to focus on my own creative and career ambitions. They've just totally been put to the side, but I feel like I'm getting close to being able to move forward. But there was something else financial that is really good that's in my future that I was going to ask about that kind of relates to everything. It's just a matter of timing. And I talked to you probably about 6 months ago. Somewhere down the line, there's I'll call it a settlement that's coming to me. And a number of things have to happen before then, and it looked like it was close. And you had said something about June, July, but it's really hard to predict the timing just because events have to fall into place first. Yeah. So wondering if you can look at that, because that's probably easier to just do like a financial reading.
Would the question be specifically then, if we put that in a sentence, what is your question?
Can you see, like, in the next 6 months or 9 months, do you see like a sudden increase in finances? Because it would be greater than just a good job. And yes, yeah. I mean, it would be a lot more than just having a good job and things being steady.
Yes, I do. But it shows it happening more. It says, I'm looking almost at October, November for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's not too far.
Does that make sense? Yeah. And so if I look at, will the amount of money that you get be enough to make you happy? And if I look at, is that why it says you win but you seem sad? Is that what this is about? No, that is not what this is about. It's totally a whole different enchilada. Your reading says that you should be happy with the money that you get from this. I think what's coming up is the longer you put off your creativity and the longer that you put off what your major priorities are beyond the financial, it gets harder and harder to be able to get in the groove. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right,
And
and that's what that's been a concern for a long time, and it's really hard to balance the family issues that have gotten more and more intense. And
do you want me to look at whether your mom is going to find a place that's better for you and everybody?
And if we will get some sort of
reimbursement.
Yeah, for what we've had to put out, because I found that their rules about the rehab facilities are just totally arbitrary, and it differs from company to company whether they'll reimburse it or not.
I'm shown absolutely you will, but interestingly, when it rains, it pours. Everything seems to be around October, November.
We may have to do a few appeals and get it down the road, but in the meantime, we need to find a place soon. And we're doing that. It's a process.
Yeah, I have heard about this place on TV called A Place for Mom.
Right, exactly. Yes, and they are a resource center.
Yeah, and so
and they do deal with that kind of thing.
Yeah, A Place for Mom is what it's called, and I don't know what are they exactly.
They're like a nonprofit consulting organization, and they have all kinds of locations. So I think that if you're near a city, you can find one locally too. But I think they're kind of a clearinghouse for resources and information.
Okay.
I know about them and have been referred to them, but we're also working. There are other local organizations that can help you find like adult family homes and that kind of thing. So we're on that path right now.
Yes. Excuse the dogs barking in the background. If I look at what is it that seems to come through with your mom, it says victory. You will get what you want. Your mother still seems to be kind of a victim of circumstances as far as her situation. So though I see that this works out for you, it does show that your mom, she finally gets what she needs later on in the year, almost by the end of the year. But I'm not saying that you won't find a place to put her. But the benefits of her health, maybe, her improvements in health and her improvements in attitude don't seem to really happen until almost the end of the year. She seems to be, remember when it said depression, someone seemed depressed? I think that's your mom. And my feeling is that she sure didn't ask for this to happen to her. And I'm sure she didn't want you to become a victim of circumstances either. So I'm going to say everything in your reading says your ambitions and your goals will happen for you. I think the disappointment is that it's going to take more time than you had wanted. And I think that your mom and her health issues and her depression may not lift until almost by the end of the year. But by the end of the year, I think all of this is going to pan out for you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to find a balance with all of this because I don't know if I can go back to work or wait for things to become stable. That's, time will tell.
If I look at what is your best course of action concerning work, and what comes through says, once the legal issues have happened to your favor, which is October, November, and it says within 3 months you should be able to get back to work again.
Okay.
And so my feeling is, it says, dream come true. Work comes back into your life October, November. Like I said, when it rains, it pours. And it says at that time, be open to the fact that you have to let all of this high maintenance stuff go. I know your mom has to be taken care of course, but I think that's easy to get into that state of mind where you're waiting for the axe to fall the minute you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think what it's saying is by October, November, get back to work. You need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that you will have a nice chunk of reimbursement. And as far as mom goes, there's really nothing, once she is in a new place, there's really nothing you can do for her except get things back on track for yourself. You're no good to anybody if you get sick from pressure and from stress, right?
Right. And I was at a point of getting stressed out by the previous situation. So,
Right.
So in a way, in some ways, it's a different level, but in some ways it's better because I don't have that constant anxiety that she's not going to be taken care of or something's going to happen.
Right.
At least if she's in a place she's taken care of.
Yes. And I like the home setting almost way more than I like the increasingly I hear about people that are in nursing homes getting ignored and not getting the attention they need. And I think that the baby boomer generation especially, I think that we're going to find that home care begins to be the most important thing. Not necessarily in our home, but in some kind of home in which we can expect more care. That's what I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I see.
Well, thank you. That's very helpful. I know it's
thank you. And
kind of a mix of different things.
Yeah, I think that your first reading was kind of covering all that. We just needed to get into the nitty gritty of it. Okay.
Yeah, that helped make sense of everything.
Yeah.
A lot. So very helpful. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Renee, how are you today?
Doing well, and I'll give you my name so you can get what you get, and then I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Renee.
All righty. And then again.
Renee.
Okay. And then one more time.
Renee.
Renee, can you hear my dogs?
Yes, and they sound lovely. So, hello, guys.
My husband is out mowing the yard, and they're all going crazy. So, sorry about that. I have 3 huge hounds. I have a St. Bernard. I have a Golden Lab, and I have a Husky. And so when they bark, it's always through my radio show, it seems like. Anyway.
Oh, yes, and they mean business. They want to go outside and say, I'm coming out.
Yes, here I come. Okay, say it one more time so I can get back on track.
Renee.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Renee, here is what comes through. Your reading says that, first I want to say that right now, I'm not going to promise you diamonds in the rose field. I feel that right now you're kind of facing this attitude of, why is everybody always picking on me, or why is my health picking on me? And your reading says that the last 2 months have felt very confusing, as if you feel like you just want to have the sense of peace that you can relax. Watch for that to happen, not this month, not necessarily even in September, but October. And I hate to be a repetitive reader. It says something happens that is a really good news, October. And your reading says also it's important to make a huge decision for yourself in December, December is the time where I'm shown that you're feeling as if you keep having victories, but the victories get kind of matted down with the little dysfunctions, and then they pop back up again. But I'm feeling that the next 3 months through autumn are going to be much better. I feel that if I look at what comes up in more detail, and looking at that, and say your name one more time.
Renee.
And you know, I always try to be honest with you, Renee, right? I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Okay.
I would know anyway, so it's okay.
It says you feel very vulnerable right now. That you feel as if there's so many things to do and so much that the conflict of the things going on right now just seem to be very difficult for you to try to keep up with. And that's created a lot of unhappiness for you. Now, the other parallel side to this is you're a warrior at heart. You never needed anybody to do nothing for you. You're a strong woman. So when you find yourself in this situation, the most important thing is accessing into that side of yourself and not the side of yourself that becomes a victim of health or the little conflicts that keep piling up. Like attracts like. You are a warrior at heart, and I show that within the coming future, wow, it just says better and better. It says you find that there is a helpful female who seems to be able to give you a financial aid or something of some support that will help you through a hard time in your life. Do you have a daughter?
No.
Okay, I don't know who she is. But it says that, okay, I'm gonna say this very bluntly. Have you thought about going into a situation where either a roommate or somebody or a healthcare situation where there are strong people that can help you through like assisted living or something like that, because the conflicts are piling up. And I feel that you as a warrior need to be assisted to access into winning again. But I feel that it almost needs to be in an assisted living situation or in a situation in which there are other people around you to help put all of this together again so it's doable. Your reading says that right now, the last thing you want is to, overwhelm yourself. But it just feels like sometimes it's really tough keeping up with everything. Your reading says your home almost feels like it gets to be harder and harder to deal with. And that the most important thing you can do right now is be able to just lighten up your load by staying with the situation that can help you. And my feeling is that's either assisted living or it's in some kind of roommate situation where you maybe are able to share expenses, but this is getting to be too much for you alone. You just have to face the fact that your strength and your warrior woman doesn't want to let go, but it's getting harder and harder for you. Okay? And so my feeling is that it's time to look at a different living situation. It's time to either lighten your load with assisted living, or it's time to go into something that can help you to get more disability or something that will aid your financial situation. But you can't do this alone, Renee. This is getting too tough for you. And the more that you try to warrior it out, the longer you stay and give yourself less. And that's what comes through. And I don't mean to be this way, but it just shows that right now, that's absolutely going to help you so much to feel better, to feel less like everyday life is a challenge, and that you can actually lighten your load. That's what I have.
Okay, well, assistant living is out of the question. I would never do it.
There has to be assistance in some way then, in either getting more financial aid, through disability, something. You just have to do something.
That's not going to work either. Already checked everything. That's not going to work. And just got to improve my health, and right now I don't want a roommate. I went through some things. I would never want one. And unless it's a permanent roommate, then it means a spouse. And it wouldn't be in this house anyway. And I think just trying to figure out if I can get some kind of work down the road, which I know is not yet, and then I can maybe ask someone to help me with some things that need to get done, and then I could move on from there, because I might be going back to school and working, and I can't stay like this. And I can't go those ways.
I know you can't stay like this. I know you can't stay like this. And that absolutely comes through in your reading. And I think school and all of those things are going to help you lighten your load. And I understand you don't want a roommate or assistance. But all I'm saying is find something, and I know you are trying, but there has to be something to lessen the home load so that you can take on school and not have it be a greater burden than you're already dealing with. And so I hear the warrior in you. I hear it. I know it's there. I know you're tougher than nails. I know that you can do this on your own, but doing it on your own needs to have something that can assist you. And I understand what you're saying. I understand.
There's a person that I met through some work I had done in my house, and they didn't do the work. Their husband did. And if I had the money to help me get some things done that I want to get done that I can't do on my own yet, I would ask them to do with me if I could just find ways to get the financing. And then as I do that and find out other alternatives, I can get myself healthy. But I need some help with certain things.
Absolutely you do. And I'm just saying, I know that you're busting your butt, but it'll happen for you. And I'm showing, again, October, November, and that seems like a ways away. But it seems like whatever assistance that you're getting, those are the months that it happens. And as far as school, I think I agree. That would lighten your mental load of life being full of chaos and conflict and just wanting to be able to have fun again. And having fun again lightens everything up in your body and in your mind. So I understand you're putting the hard work in it, and I wish I was able to give you all the organizations or places to go to, but all I see is what I see. Okay.
Oh, I know. I've checked, and I'm saying, okay, I ran into a few roadblocks already, but then I also know of a few other things, at least for rides, for the starter, and other places, and that I've been pushing and saying, well, I'm not doing the others. They're ridiculous. So.
And you're not willing to do you're not willing to do the Golden Girls thing, huh?
I've met a lot of dishonest people, shall we say, and that would like to do that. And if I found somebody really honest, I would do it with that person. But I haven't found anybody yet on that.
That's what research is about, and that's why background searches are important. But I really truly think that the Golden Girls situation can be a wonderful thing if you do find the right people.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah, if you find the right people, it's pretty cool. As long as you know you can walk out of your house and you know your whole house isn't taken to some other location.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't do in a living situation like that. I would definitely background search anybody that I was going to live with. Well, that's what I see, baby girl.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it because I've thought about all this, except for the one you mentioned, because my uncles did that, and it's not for me.
What, assisted living?
I'm a lot different than they are. Living out of my house in retirement, in community, and those places. That's not for me.
Okay. Well, bye-bye, honey bunny, and I'll see you guys.
Bye-bye, and you have a wonderful weekend. Have a lot of fun.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is achieveradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
Hi,